William Morrow and HarperAudio present The Devil's Charm by Megan Frampton, performed by Morag Sims. To me, because I deserve it. Chapter 1. Whatever Lucian did, he did it to the utmost. There was just too much fun to be had for a young man who had all the means at his disposal and none of the responsibilities. It would be a travesty if he didn't do everything he could to enjoy himself to the fullest extent possible. Or at least that's what he told himself. It wasn't that his father and his older brother hadn't tried to give him various duties, but Lord Lucian Eldridge, second son of the Duke of Waxford, was adroit at finding ways to divert them to someone else, because successful avoidance meant he had more time for his own particular pleasures. And what pleasures they are, he murmured. Tonight's pleasure was attending a ball, dressed in an impeccably fitted evening suit, a suit that was exquisitely tailored, showcasing the body he took pleasure in maintaining. Sometimes there was nothing so glorious as galloping for miles until both horse and rider were exhausted, or running the perimeter of the family estate just because it was there. The ball was in celebration of the wedding between two well-titled and well-heeled families. The bride's family was hosting the event, and they had spared no expense, from the plethora of flowers atop every surface to the sumptuous food laid out on groaning buffet tables, to the chandeliers casting their brilliant glow into every corner of the room. Lucian appreciated the family's commitment. Like him, they spared nothing in their attempt to have the most decadent and fulfilling ball ever. The ballroom glittered with a combination of candles, ladies' jewels, and highly polished silver. Lucian handed his hat and coat to a waiting footman, then made his way farther into the room. Many of the guests' heads swivelled at his arrival, their expressions lighting up. Lucian knew it was because of him. He wasn't overly vain, but he knew that his presence at an event made it immediately more delightful. Whether it was charming the dowagers, dancing with the wallflowers, or introducing shy gentlemen to the friendliest people in society, Lucian made a party sparkle. "Evening, cousin," a voice said at his elbow. Lucian turned to see Robert Montague, his maternal aunt's middle son. "Evening, cousin," Lucian said, putting his arm around his cousin's shoulder and waving at a few of the people who were trying to get his attention. He turned to meet Robert's gaze. "It is a good thing I ran into you tonight. Father has asked me to ask you to oversee his Worcestershire estate." Which wasn't precisely the truth. The Duke had asked Lucian to oversee it, but Lucian was going to fulfill that duty by handing it over to someone else. Robert had recently lost his wife, and they'd had no children, so the man was in urgent and sudden need of something to occupy his time, to do something other than grieve. This was a perfect opportunity to do something good for someone else, and divest himself of ownership of this project. 2 birds, 1 stone. Or 1 estate, as it were. Robert gave Lucian an astonished look. Is the Duke certain?" His expression turned longing. "It would be a remarkable opportunity, since Beth—" And then he stopped, his mouth tightening. "Absolutely," Lucian assured him, patting the other man's back. His father would get the credit for giving Robert this chance, but that was fine. Lucian didn't do anything for praise. He just wanted not to have to do anything, full stop. At least not anything that wasn't chosen by him. And he knew Robert would do a far better job than Lucian, which meant the Duke would, eventually, be pleased. After
Sample complete. Ready to continue?